I was breathless, my heart restless. Every turn felt like it was wrong, but I kept going to show I was strong. Pushing to my own song, but you came, you made me see.
Because I think that we have some really good discussions, and it'd just be helpful, and they're like really intelligent discussions, experience-based discussions based on what we've experienced together, and I think that's really valuable, and can hopefully invite others in to to bring people in, to reach people. So I didn't realise it was going to say this video is being recorded.
I thought at first I'd been hacked or something like that.
Yeah.
It came up with some like American woman's voice, and
yeah, it was a bit disturbing, wasn't it? Kind of like killed the vibe.
Talking about your meditation, I think it's helped for me as well, with the silence as well, really being able to differentiate between this finite mind and thinking. There's lots of little things, little nuggets of things that I've definitely grasped, and it does help generally. It's really good.
I think it just kind of like that. It just kind of, like I said, when I was feeling disturbed this week, just to be able to take myself back. Like yesterday, I was sitting and I was all so caught up in crap around finances and work, and then the story about the pity party if you're a failure was started to reel off, and I just was sitting in my garden. I just closed my eyes, started to breathe, in the way you've shown, and just listened, to the sounds and just what was really there. And as I just was breathing, started to tune out from the chatter and just be present, I guess, to the different bird song I could hear, the traffic in the background, just where I was. And it's nice. It's so lovely to be able to come back to that peace when I know before, having discovered and been shown this, I just would have ran with that, and it would have just been that's why I'd be like, I have had such a bad day. Ugh.
If I ever feel about a particular predicament, whatever it might be, I often sort of reflect and sort of think, what can I learn from this? What I'm experiencing, whether it's a bit of being triggered and realizing I'm acting like the separate self that Rupert talks about. I just often ask myself, what can I learn from this predicament, this experience? And often answers come to you. Sometimes I noticed while I was looking after my mum, because that's sort of been the theme with me this last couple of months, sort of getting my mum through this operation, so I had to spend a lot more time with her, which has been lovely. There's been some really lovely moments, and we're really good mates, me and my mum. But I've sort of experienced old triggers, and that I thought I got rid of, that have come back. So I've sort of, I don't know whether you can relate that to your job, but things that, I've experienced in the past. So it's like revisiting it, and what do I want to learn from it this time? Or what can I learn from it this time?
So how did you find the meditation?
Loved it. Loved all the silence. Loved all the pauses. Really, really lovely pauses in it. To really experience what the silence is. Because in the beginning, I would have said the first 5 minutes of the silence, because she didn't say a word, I realised I wasn't actually thinking anything for at least 5 minutes, and then after 5 minutes I would have said the thought started to come in. silly stuff like I smell the perfume. Then I remembered an old sister-in-law who hated perfume. Remembered she'd had twins. It went on and on. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But that's where it went, just for that moment. But the first 5 minutes, to be fair, I didn't feel like I was thinking anything. And so that's why it said I've enjoyed understanding the finite mind, because I never knew much of the difference between the finite mind and thinking, but now I do.
So one of the things that I can't remember who says it, maybe Rupert or maybe a few people, but the mind is time. The mind's movements are time. That's what creates the illusion of time. You can never, even if you imagine some past, some imagined past, some memory, it only ever takes place now. You can't, so that's why the guidance in the meditation is to try and take a step into any other time than now. Try and take a step into the past or go to the future. Even if you say, okay, well, I'm going to imagine, eating breakfast this morning. You can imagine it, but the imagined experience is happening now. It's only ever happening now. Everything takes place in the space of now. So were you able to really see that, to feel that, to know that?
I did. I think it helped because I've sort of, we're going to meditation from quite a young age. But what I'm finding is the things that we talked about then 30 odd years ago, I obviously didn't grasp it, because now I know I am grasping it from a different experience. I'm definitely grasping that. I followed that this morning. Yeah, really could see it.
I don't know if I could honestly say that I truly know it, but I think with the meditation we just did, and any time that I'd come to that place, but in that meditation, like Sandra said, there's just moments where there is no thought, and in that is just great peace, because I've just always identified with thinking, with whatever my brain has been saying, and a kind of, but I've been and searching for peace, seeking peace, but through kind of an intellectual way, maybe trying to discover it through knowledge or through substances or whatever, which did for a while kind of, they have their own like euphoric or relaxing effects, drinking drugs or whatever, but not like a real kind of grounding peace in myself like I experience in meditation and in that one.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not peace that if you're looking for peace, then you're overlooking the direction, aren't you? Which is, where is your experience of time? And so this is the problem, you see, is that your mind has come in and it's made the objective something else.
So yeah, it's made it peace, I guess. I'm
looking for what David actually means is finding that peace. No, I never said anything about peace. You see, and so then what happens is the mind creates something else to aspire for, which isn't the thing that's being that we're trying to look at. So it's like, where is the now? Try and get somewhere other than now. Show me time. All right, people say, oh, it's on the phone. It's the clock. what is that? That's a representation. That's a symbol of a thing. So what we're actually looking at in our immediate experience is where is this passage of time, other than in our thoughts as an abstract concept.
The TV one that Rupert, the analogy of the TV screen with the movie on it, that does it sort of explain quite clearly about time, grasping this issue about time and what's now. That was quite a good one. If you ever get the chance to watch it, Keo.
Yeah, it's good. Thanks for that. I didn't. Again, you don't realise that it's just the mind. My mind's just gone off with another kind of thing, which is essentially the same. It's the same activity, that I was referring to. It's another seeking, really.
I mean, ultimately, when you follow the pointing, the guidance, where is the now? What is your experience of time? And you actually follow this pointing, try and get out of any other place, try and be somewhere other than now. Try and go to past, try and go to future. When you realise that, it's just nonsensical when you let go of abstraction and look at your experience. That's when the possibility of the peace that your mind thinks, is the objective or is in search of, that's when that's revealed, but in your experience. But if you've already gone 10 steps ahead and said, what David's trying to get us to his peace. I'm clever. I'm looking for peace now. No, you're not. You've got to overlook it because you've made peace into an abstraction. You've made peace into an abstract concept that you're then in search of in concepts. No, I said, just stay with now. Where is now? You know that it's now, don't you?
Yeah.
You know it's now? How do you know it's now?
I don't.
You don't know it's now?
Well, it is, yeah.
So you know it's now, right?
This direct so-called second, then the next second is still
Show
now.
me seconds. Where are the seconds? When does 1 second end and the next one begin? Again, the mind goes to assumption and belief. Where does 1 second? Where does 1 second begin or 1 minute begin and the next one end? Unless you refer to the symbols, the symbols of time. Get up on your phone. They're just symbols, aren't they? Where's the actual time itself? The passage of time, movement of time. Do you find seconds in your experience now?
Not unless I start counting them in my head.
Well, then what's the counting?
The mind.
In the counting, is there any other experience than that counting taking place? Does that reference a passage of time, or is it just counting?
I think it's obviously the conditioning as well, because if you were a brand new newborn baby 5 minutes ago, say, I know that's using time as an example, but if you're in a cot and you're a brand new newborn baby, you wouldn't understand what time was. So it's always now experience. It's just if you're a newborn baby, nobody's ever talked to you about time. You don't know that you were just born and you don't know what's happening. 2 minutes, but you're just a newborn baby with no understanding and conditioning and learning of time and the clock and years and months and seconds. And if you just pretend that you're this newborn baby with no understanding, that is just now. Like direct experience of nothing.
They haven't got the conceptual repertoire, the internal the internal concepts that and abstractions that adults use to that adults use to interact with their environment, and as a layer of in between them and their reality, there is just experiencing, isn't there? Pure experiencing. So it's our concepts that create that illusion of time, which is why I was saying, what's appearing right now. Do you see any evidence of actually time moving, or is this all just appearing now? Where is the appearance? Is this appearance other than now? Where do you see past or future in what this appearance is? Is this appearance now? All of it, the whole appearance, is it now? Or is it past, or is it future? Are you confused, Connor?
I think I probably am just. I was just thinking. I've probably just been. I don't know. Maybe misunderstanding the direction somewhat, and coming at it on a more conceptual way, but that's okay, really, because it's still very new to me, this stuff. So, but it's not going to be like, oh, I was wrong. I was wrong, and therefore I must give up because the great me wasn't right. No, it's good.
Just look at your experience. Is this appearance happening any other time than now? Is it taking place any other time than now? It's not a trick question.
No, I just get confused by those questions, I think, because I'm just.
Well, is it happening in the past? This appearance, is it happening in the past?
It's happening right now.
It's because it's right under your nose, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
some things are so simple. Some things are so simple. It's really hard to see it. I've noticed this with lots of stuff.
Yeah,
it's like you point.
I think every time you say stuff like that, I think it's a trick. I think my brain thinks it's a trick question. It's trying to be like, what's he on about? Is he trying to be that clever or something?
Somebody's trying to trick me here.
I've got all of them, David.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But it's like when you point, a lot of people to awareness, they think, all sorts of things can arise from that. They can't see that their entire experience is taking place in the field of awareness. This whole experience now, it's like it is the substance of your experience, your being. And immediately, a lot of people can't even see awareness. They can't even recognize it. And so this is why, teachers will point to, Eckhart Tolle in particular will point to the now. And because you intuitively know that it is now, it's no other time than now. your experience is that it is now. The experience, I mean, how can you say that it's other than now? It's just, you know, you can't, can you?
But time is really just a function to, you know, you get up at a certain time, you go to bed, you go to work. It's basically just a functional.
The abstraction of time, the concept of time is useful. Helps us to organise our focus on various things, you know, various activities. But the problem is when we confuse it with an actual reality, like that it's actually real. That's the problem, and that's where we get lost in emotional time, or what Eckhart calls psychological time. We're emotionally invested in you know, in time as an actual thing, and then we feel we're running out of time, or we're, you know,
Time flies.
you know, we you know, and it brings, you know, anxiety because we're in anticipation or fear of some future moment that's going to happen, and what that's going to be like, and that we're in some way under threat, you know. So but like you see, you know, you can see examples of animals in the wild, and they're, you know, they're kind of like, you know, one being chased by a tiger or something, and they're like fight or flight, and they're in flight, and they're anxious, and they're, but as soon as that chase is over and they've escaped, it's like, you know, they're back to stability again. That whatever was happening's over. You know, and they don't carry psychological time, which is the imprint in the mind of that keeps that alive. And that's what we, as human beings, that's our suffering, isn't it? That's our burden, is that we keep alive imagined realities that so we you know, this is psychological time that's imprinted within us, within our conditioning through concepts and abstraction. But you know, through really kind of questioning around what our experience of time is, and does it actually even exist? And knowing that actually now is all there is, and so asking all these questions allows us to really kind of ground ourselves in the reality of that, and then lose this, you know, this kind of, you know, lose the conditioning really that keeps us in those kinds of states of mind, and but we have to follow the directions and not think that those directions are somehow kind of duplicitous and they're trying to, you know, trick us or something like that. It's just like, no, really look and ask yourself, what is there other than now? Can we get to some place other than now? Can you actually experience past? Can you experience future?
End of the day, if we didn't go by time, life would be extremely chaotic, because you wouldn't be able to book a holiday, would you? Because how would we all know when to go and get on a plane? Because you know, you have to live in it. But it's nice.
Yeah, but like you say, it's functional time.
Yeah.
Psychological time's different, isn't it? It's thinking, oh, you know, I've booked all this. What could go wrong? Oh, there could be a COVID outbreak and blah, blah, blah. It's psychological time. It's imagining, isn't it? But yeah, for practical purposes, practical time, functional time, yeah, absolutely. I use it in my job. I have to organise things in my calendar. But I'm not burdened by psychological time. I'm not burdened by it. I sometimes have anticipation, or little bit of fear sometimes about something, but I'm not burdened by it. Those are temporary experiences. Whereas some people, they are like fully burdened with it's like a heaviness. Oh, it's the beginning of, it's Monday morning, it's the beginning of the week. Oh no, I've got all this, and really feels heavy, and they feel weighted down by it.
Mm.
I know I've got a lot of colleagues like that. But I know that whatever's taking place happens now. And if I'm, because presence has become the predominant thing, it just all flows all right. Things happen. Often things happen better than expected, But if you carry the burden of psychological time with you, that's what then imprints on the present, into the present moment, and it just feels heavy. Anyway, listen, the time is now 9:31. and I'm aware that I've got to get Emily to the foot doctor, and I've got some things I've got to do. So
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you. But
Good to see you.
So I'll share the video that I watched this morning, the Rupert video on time and space, which we were going to watch together, but never mind, you can watch it in your own time. There you go, that word again. All right,
Can't
guys.
escape it.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye, have a good one.
Bye.
But you came, you made